I just started messing around, trying to make my own Philadelphia pretzel recipe. Anybody from Philly, I would just drop them off to their house, and it just took off. The Philly pretzel, it's not just the shape, the color, the flavor, it's the culture. And if there's one thing about Philly pretzels is no one buys just one. So we're here in Silver Lake and we're at Broome Street General Store, which is my favorite store, my wife's all-time favorite store. I've just been an actor for 20 years. I'm obsessed with food, but the pandemic kind of just took me to a place where I was like, I think I love food so much that I couldn't go without certain things during the pandemic. I had to make them myself, and the pretzels were one of them. All I did for like the first 3 months of quarantine was just roll pretzels, and I would look at YouTube to learn. You share them with your neighbors, your family, your friends, your office, your school. So that's what I kind of wanted to bring back into my life, and it's happened in a much bigger way than I thought it would. You check out our Instagram, see where we're gonna be, go to Shappy Pretzel, order your pretzels, they're bagged and ready for you, or you can just stop by and pick them up and walk up.
This is what we're aiming for when it comes out of the oven, and it looks and feels delicious.
It really does.
So walk me through it, let's do it.
All right, so I've already pre-shaped some of these for us.
Thank you.
You know, so let's take a dough, here we go. And first we gotta do the most important thing about a pretzel is making a nice rope.
A rope.
And you're gonna basically roll it like this. Now let's take the sides, like this. Yep. And then you're just gonna go like this, and you're gonna twist it.
Right.
You're close. Now bring this down.
Yeah.
Hit it here.
Hit it there. And
take your sides, boom.
And it's, okay.
And now if we put ours together, look what we've got.
Can I try a bit of this?
Let's do it.
That is a good pretzel.
That's Philadelphia right in your mouth.
When I wake up every morning, I say, this is going to be the best day of my life. And it always is.
Tao is the last person alive today who's marched with both Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr.
I came all the way from India just to meet Tao, and it was on my bucket list, and I was able to strike it off, in fact celebrate her birthday, wish her, and practice yoga with her, and how blessed am I? Oh my.
And have you studied with Tao before?
I have not. I've been following her on social media, on Instagram. I can't do a lot of the positions that she has been able to accomplish, and a quarter of her age.
Hello, everybody. How are you? I'm 101 years old today. I love yoga, and I love dancing, and yoga is the dance of life. And so when I do it, if I can pass that joy on to other people, then I have a reason to be on this earth. I've been doing yoga since I was 7 years old in the northern part of India.
She teaches amazing physical alignment cues that will change your practice and shift your body, but she teaches it with the joy. And that's what she focuses on, Ananda, the joy, the bliss in yoga. Anything you can do it with love, you can do it with joy.
When I come up, this is not it. This is pushing me down. This is it. First of all, when I wake up every morning, I say, this is going to be the best day of my life. And it always is. See, today, so special.
When you start your day with that kind of gratitude, the universe has no option but to conspire and make it so. She has this way of touching people's lives, and it's not false humility. It is absolutely her truth when she says, I hope I have something to teach them. Every single time I assist her, I still learn something new.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tao. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you so much.
So she always says, when you do something in your heart, do it, but do it today, because procrastination is the only sin. If you put it off till tomorrow, tomorrow never comes.
Because 1 minute after midnight, it's already today. So what you want to do and what you believe in, that you think is right, go and do it.
It's good advice.
All of her advice is good advice.
Mavricks is a famous big wave surf spot 20 minutes south of San Francisco, and it's oftentimes compared to the Mount Everest of waves. It starts breaking when it's 15 feet, and then it can go up from there. Last year there was a 100-foot day. You got to put everything into it and really put everything on the line. What I love so much about big waves is the challenge, and it just brings me back to the same moment of when I started surfing and I was 7 years old, and I'd paddle out and the waves would seem big and scary and there were so many different things going on, and you just overcome these fears and you catch this ride. From that day on, I was hooked. I couldn't imagine my life without surfing. I am one of the founders of the Committee for Equity in Women's Surfing, and we have lobbied for inclusion and equal pay for the past 4 years. We were told it was unsafe or we couldn't do it. I feel really, really proud of being able to change policy. This year, the Mavricks surf competition is going to have women competing against women, and we are also getting equal prize money. So it's just super exciting.
As a documentarian and journalist, I saw my story, I just started to follow it. My name's Sachi Cunningham, and I'm making a documentary film called She Change about the best female big wave surfers in the world as they strive for equity in the sport. It's not easy doing what I do. It's difficult to hold your position, constantly diving, you're constantly getting pounded, and we cross paths and I take some photos. These women are saying, no, enough. We deserve this, we're going to do this. They stood up for what they wanted and turned the tide.
Knowing the world's watching is just really awesome because we're surfing amazing huge waves all the time, all over the world. So I think people are just gonna have their minds blown and be like, wow, women are amazing and can do anything.
It is addressed just to Spider-Man in Forest Hills, New York, United States of America. At a certain point, you start to realize, like, the Postal Service is in cahoots here. So we are a museum that celebrates sort of the everyday objects of New York City's history. Seltzer bottles from Brooklyn, Statue of Liberty figurines, and architectural remnants. This was very fortunate to us. One of our board members, Pamela Parker, she grew up in a house in Forest Hills where eventually they started receiving letters to Spider-Man. It was her mother, Suzanne Parker, who actually started getting some of these letters and thinking they were odd at first, maybe a prank, maybe someone making fun of their last name, and it was later revealed to them that in 1989 this issue came out with their real address on it.
As soon as the comic book identified 20 Ingram as the Spider-Man house, then everything came flooded. She's gotten hundreds, if not, more than hundreds in the past years.
This one is filled with gifts. I like this. I'm a big fan of you. Everyone knows your secret. You're Peter Parker. What we've done with them is selected the top 24 or so. For one, to show the broad scope or the impact that it had not only here in Queens or even in New York City, but going outside of the country and all around the world. Moving forward, we'd love to continue to consider this an archive. As it continues to grow, we'll continue to give it a home.
This is the type of place you come to get a piece of the past.
Food is good. Like, the food is really, really, really good.
You cut my veins wide open. This is just to pop out. So I heard about it, the moment I moved to Houston.
I've been coming to This Is It since 1975.
When you come here, you get that warm feel as if I'm back at home again.
It reminds you of what, Grandma used to make.
It's the love and care that you have to put in the soul food that makes people want to come back.
We're at Houston's This Is It Soul Food in the Third Ward. 1959, my grandfather and grandmother wanted to go into their own business, and my grandfather was a magnificent cook. So they ventured out in the Fourth Ward area, stumbled across a wooden frame house, and she said, "This is it," and that's where they started the business. And to this day, we still have some of those old customers that still come down with us. I took over in 1994. My grandfather was wanted to retire. My grandmother, her health was failing, and so I said, "Show me everything you know. Let me carry on the business." Back in 2009, we purchased the property here and started This Is It over here.
Soul food does not mean black food. That's what a lot of people think. Soul food is the food that makes you feel good when you're cooking it.
It's a dish that's cooked from the heart.
When you're serving it and when you're eating it. You're proud of it. It's something that has a history.
We kept the food that our ancestors had, that they ate back in slavery and just brought it up to date. Things that were thrown away that was thought to be wasteful, we converted into a delicacy. Still tastes original, like old school, all these cooking shows, everybody coming out teaching you how to cook, but you can't flavor stuff the way old school people do.
pork chops,
chitlins,
candied yam,
fried catfish,
short ribs,
oxtails.
Oxtails, the oxtails, that's the top seller. And the meat just falls off the bone.
Can't open the door without them. We do at least 300 pounds a day. So much so that if we don't have them, some customers leave because that's what they came for. I work with my kids, my daughter and son and my son-in-law.
It was good growing up around the restaurant.
So I was born into This Is It. Everyone knew that my life would be centered around the restaurant. I didn't know that. I actually became a teacher. But something called me into the restaurant. And I realized that something was the legacy.
And it means a lot to be a part of history.
I passed the reign over to them back in November 2019. Every day I come here, I tell them how good of a job that they've done because I'm so proud to see what was taught me. I've been able to teach them, and now they're carried on. So one day they'll be able to tell their own kids.
We're proud to keep in the family.
There is 4 generations working. The 5th generation is born, and they'll be in here, when they're not just 2 years old.
When you can come to a business 60 plus years.
Most restaurants open and close between 3 to 5 years. So to have a restaurant to be open for 61 years,
steady rising and steady gaining, it's a blessing. It's a real blessing.
It's tremendous, man, and it's something special to me.
Perseverance is the key, and with that, you need the customer to help you keep going. When you have the customer's dollar coming in supporting you, that means you're doing something that they can appreciate, and then we're doing something that they can appreciate.
You ever have that craving for something and then you go and get it and it tastes different? That's not fun. And so my parents and my grandmother, they've made sure that the way they learned to cook
passed down from generation to generation, and now it's in mine.
We don't change that because the customers, they have an expectation and we want to meet that craving.